Hello everyone, and welcome to So Many Games at a Time. My name is Joachim, and today we will be playing Fractured Sky. So, this is set up as a solo game, okay? Normally you will be seeing this. This is your player tray, alright? This is the first AI, this is the second AI. And these are the components that I'm using, which is technically not according to the rulebook, but I'll get back to that in a minute. I am going to explain the whole game, so even if you don't plan on playing solo, you can watch this video. You will still learn how to play the game. At the end, however, I will focus a little bit more on solo, and there will also be a second video following where I actually play the game solo. Okay, so what has happened in Fractured Sky? What is the game all about? It's a little bit of a special theme. I'm going to read it out real quickly. A star tore to pieces and fell to the sea. 10 cursed irons arose from the depths. A Newman was awakened by the clamor they caused, whose anger turned waters pitch black. The god beast called out to the seers and the wise men of earth, and did offer to grant them one wish. In exchange they would bring him star fragments that fell, so he might cast them back to the heavens. But only one wish would be granted to them, to the ones who had gathered the most. They took to the sky, in their vessels they soared, for riches, for love, for glory. Go forth, brave adventurer, and claim your heart's greatest wish. So that is Fractured Sky. The idea behind it is, of course, you are trying to collect as many of these Starfall tokens you see here, the metal version, because this is the super deluxe version, okay? A lot of this stuff is not really necessary. That's why the base game just has tokens, and it works perfectly fine like that as well. Just know that this is the super deluxe version, and there are 3 different versions out there. Okay, so during the game you are trying to collect these Starfall tokens, okay? So there are several actions that you can do on your turn, but first of all let me tell you what everything is. This deck, these are the public Starfalls. So at the start of a round you will always flip one over. It doesn't matter which round, it's always just one. So in this case, it says it is the Sinister Spires, okay? So you will take one Starfall token and you will put it in the Sinister Spires, which is here, okay? And then you have a bunch of hidden Starfalls. So these are all the hidden ones. And one of them, in the first round, will go here, face down. The second round, there will be 2. Third round, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Here are hidden objectives. After each round, the leftmost one will be revealed and scored. So it's pretty straightforward, but I'll give you some examples of that later on. The game has 3 resources. We have gold, we have stone, and we have wood. We have 2 types of buildings. We have markets, and we have fortresses. And then 2 types of airships. We have the skimmers, which are the small ones. And then we have your capital airships. These are all very cool. They look very different for each faction, so that's cool. Then you also have these numbers here. They range from 0, you have 2 zeros, all the way up to 10. Okay? So, we now know there's one Starfall there. What would we do on one turn? Well, for example, the first thing that you can do is you would take one of your airships, your main ones, and you choose one of the numbers that is here on your board. For example, let's say I choose the number 6. With this version, it's really cool. This is a magnet. You just do this, click, and it's there. Obviously, you want to have the number like this. I don't think it even works like this. No, it doesn't. So like this, so nobody can see which number you chose. Normally, this screen will be here, so people cannot see which number you've chosen. So, this is 6. If I go here to the Sinister Spires, I can go wherever I want, okay? But let's say I go here to the Sinister Spires, that means I will be able to, at the end of the round, fight here and compare my 6 to other factions, okay? Now, as you can see, I have 3 airships. So I have 6 now, and let's say I choose 2 for my next one, and I go to the Torrential Tropics, and then maybe later on I will take a 4 and I go to the Peaceful Plains. Now that is a very bad idea. Now, I have nothing against the peaceful plains. Peaceful plains is fine. But the total amount of these numbers is bad because we have 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 2 is 12. The maximum of all your ships combined can only be 10. And right now I'm at 12. So the problem there is it's 2. I went over 2. So how do you rectify that? Well, you simply do -2. So if we were to fight right now, this 6 would not be 6, would actually be 4. This one will be 2, and this one would be 0. So it is never a good idea to go over 10. Or maybe if you want to bluff or whatever, but I don't even see how that will work. Basically, you get penalized if you go over 10. And the amount you go over is the amount you subtract to everything. So if you have 20 in total, it will be -10, -10, -10. So you automatically lose everything, which would be, of course, not a good thing to do. So that's how you choose your numbers. Now, just for the sake of the example, I will remove the 4 and I will take a 1. And then we're still fine because we have 1, 2, and 6, which brings us to 9. Now, you might wonder, why is the 1 white? Because the 1 is white and the 10 is white. So that's for strategic reasons. When you put a white one out, people don't know if it's a 1 or a 10. Because if it's a 10, you could have been putting out your other 2 zeros and you're still fine. It can also be a 1, and then you can use higher numbers in different locations. Okay? So that's the basic action of placing these starships. Now, when you go to eventual battle, a lot of stuff will influence it. I will get back to it after I've explained everything else. Okay? So, you place your airships. If you place your third one, by the way, the round will end for you. It might be that the other players still have stuff to do, but once everyone has placed their third ship, the round will be over, right? So, what else can you do? You can also place an airship or a skimmer or an island. So this is the airship already. You can also play a skimmer. Now, if you want to place a skimmer on an island, you need to pay. So this is 1 wood and 1 stone. That's what it costs, right? So you can just put it wherever you want it to be. For example, you can put it here. You can put it with another ship. You can even put multiple airships all in one spot. It doesn't have to be a different spot, okay? It's perfectly allowed. So this basically has a value of 1, all right? That's it, just a value of 1, and you can maximum, you have 5 of them you can put out. But very important about these skimmers, at the end of the round, they will go back to your board. They don't stick around, okay? And also, we'll see later, fortresses give combat bonuses, markets give other bonuses. These are not triggered when you use a skimmer, okay? These are only triggered when you have one of your airships, your big airships. Okay, so that's a skimmer, okay? It does +1. So I'll give you a gameplay example. Let's say you know for a fact that later on there will be a starfall here, all right? Then you can put your skimmer here, and if there's nobody else, this one can easily pick up the starfall, okay? That will happen in a playthrough, well, especially solo. I don't know multiplayer, I have to say. Okay. Another thing when you place an airship, and it does not apply to a skimmer. When you are the first person to place an airship in an area, you will put them on top of this card. Now, what does this card mean? That means when you go there, you can explore. Only the first person can explore. If there's somebody else following, like let's say this white one, the yellow one, they would not be able to explore, okay? Only this one can explore. So they get to explore, they take the top card of the hidden starfall deck and they look at it, only they can look at it, and they keep it. Now they know from this point that there will be no starfalls in the woeful wetlands this round because this card is not this card. So basically you can already rule out this one. Of course you can bluff and then put something there or put an airship there with a value of 0 and have other people go there thinking, you looked at a card or whatever, you have more information than we do, I don't know, whatever. So the first one can explore, the second one cannot, okay? Third one cannot, fourth one cannot, and so on. So that's limited. All right, so that is explore. You can also build buildings. You can build a fortress and a market, and you will be building these on the hexes that you see everywhere. Now, a market costs 2 wood and 1 gold. A fortress costs 3 stone. And what's very important about these hexes is you see the little stars, 2, 2, 2, 4, and so on, and 3, that means the islands they are linked to. So this one with 4 is linked to the Dreadful Desert, the Torrential Tropics, it is linked to the Woeful Wetlands, and it's linked to Creepy Cove. Now, let's start with the easy one, that is the fortress. If you build a fortress, of course you pay 3 stone, and let's say you put it here. From now on, in those 4 islands where it's connected to, you will have +1 combat. But only if there's a ship there, an airship, not a skimmer. A skimmer does not get the bonus, okay? Only your airships will get +1, all right? So of course you can imagine if you have 2 of these of your own next to it, it can be huge, especially if you place a 0 one, and then suddenly this adds 1 to its power, and then it has a good influence to the market. Market is what I'm going to talk about next. So the market here, like I said, 2 wood and 1 gold. Let's say you put the market here. Well, when you are fighting, and even if you don't fight, if you're just there, if you're there with an airship, not with a skimmer, doesn't count. If you're there with an airship with a higher value than 1, or if the value is boosted by a fortress, it also applies, then the 1 market will allow you to take 1 of the resources this island provides. So for example, the Torrential Tropics allow you to get stone and wood. So 1 market will allow you to get 1 of those. Now, let's say you've gone heavy on the markets, you have 1 here, and you have another market here. All these 3 are linked to the Torrential Tropics. That means you can get 3 goods of any combination of these 2. Only of these 2. So there's no gold here, you cannot get gold, okay? But it is a good way to boost your resources for the next round. The manual even says that you should build at least 1 market in round 1 or 2. Okay, it's one of the tips, because otherwise, if you have no resources, you can't bring out any buildings or extra ships, and it will leave you quite weak, honestly. So that is what markets are for. Obviously, this will cause heavy battles between people to try to get their buildings there, because once they're there, they are stuck. You cannot move them, you cannot replace them, you cannot destroy them. They are there to stay. Okay, so you got to think carefully where you put everything. All right. Okay, so there's also several islands that just have 1 resource, like Dreadful Desert only has gold, Molten Moor only has stone, and Woeful Wetlands only has wood. All right, so those are the buildings, right? And once again, remember, if your airship has 0 or it is only a skimmer, the buildings do nothing, okay? So you need to be higher than 0 or have at least 1 basic airship there with higher than 0. Okay, so those are 2 actions already. We have the airship and the skimmer, and the fortress or the market. Then we can do stuff with these cards. Now, first of all, you can spend 2 gold, and that's not mentioned, sadly, on the player aids or anywhere on the board, as far as I can tell. You can spend 2 gold to look at this card. So you scout. So you remove, you go 2 down in the gold. You take a look at the card, and you see, is the Careening Cliffs. I know this now. And then you can put it back. However, the card says gold and stone, because that is what it produces. So when you put it back face down, you will take your cube, and then if you decide not to take anything, you put the cube here, so everybody knows you went there, and it means from now on you can always look at the card, because this is not a memory game, okay? You can always check back so you don't forget it. Now you can put it here, or you can put it on one of the resources the Careening Cliffs provides. So let's say you really want to have gold so you can scout again later. You can put it here and then take 1 gold, all right? Now, of course, it's good that you get 1 gold, but it also means everybody else knows, aha, that card is either the Peaceful Plains, Careening Cliffs, Dreadful Desert, Sinister Spires, or the Creepy Cove, because all those places have gold, all right? So if somebody else goes there and then chooses stone, then of course everybody knows it's the Careening Cliffs, okay? Another player can go there and say, you know what? I'm going to also explore. I'm also going to scout, pay 2 gold, and I'm also going to choose gold. If they also choose gold, you don't do it like this. You just put it here. All right. So people can choose the same resource. It's not the first person can do it or whatever, and that way it's still kind of secretive, because people still don't know if they could think it's Dreadful Desert because that has 2 gold, but yeah. So that's how that works. for everything. So in the future rounds, this is round 1, then it'll be round 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'll always be different. Okay, so that is scouting. That costs 2 gold. Now, the other action you can do is peeking. Now, peeking does not happen in a solo game because these cards are not there in a solo game. But in a multiplayer game, they are. These are objectives. And they will score at the end of each round. So at the end of the first round, we will flip the first card. And then it'll stay flipped over because we just scored it once and it'll be done. Next round, we'll flip this one. And we only score this one. We do not score the first one anymore. That's done. Second one. Third round, this one. Fourth round, this one. Fifth round, this one. But even in round 1, you can already scout the 5th one or whatever. Okay, you can scout all of them if you want. I mean, peek at them. So that means once again, you will take the card and you will look at it. The cost here is any 2 resources that you want. Okay, can be stone and wood, can be wood and gold, whatever, any 2. So you then take it, you look at it, and for example, it says merchants meddling, have the most markets built. Okay. Obviously, if this is the last round, you know you want to get everything out by then. Because if you win this card, you get a starfall. And of course, the starfalls are what it's all about. Because at the end of the game, you want to have as many, you need to have the most. Okay, so you put them here, by the way, on your tray as you get them. So basically, those objectives can give 5 extra starfalls, which is pretty important. So you look at it, okay, you know it now. You put it back, you take your cube and put it here to show that you looked at it. And for the rest of the game, you can always go back and check it because your cube is there. And once again, it is not a memory game. All right. Well, I guess you could house rule it and turn it into a memory game, but it doesn't. I wouldn't do it. Okay. So once again, first round, you score this one, second round, and so on, so on, so on. Okay. So those are basically the 4 actions: airship and skimmer, fortress or market, scout a starfall location, or peek at an objective. Okay, so you can just do one of those, and then it's the other person's turn, and you go around until everyone has placed all their ships, and then the round will end. So what happens at the end of the turn? First of all, like I said, we are with 3 people in this game, right? So let's say the turn order was like this. Okay, let's say purple was the first player to put all their ships out. Okay. Then purple can choose whether they want to be first, second, or third next round. Now you can see there's an icon on third. If they choose to be third, they will get 1 gold resource. Okay, but let's say they want to be first, and then yellow wants to be third, and green, myself, wants to be second. Then the round ends. Okay, that happens first of all when everyone has placed all their ships. They get to choose their turn order, place, position. Okay. Then we will reveal the hidden objective. So we flip this over, which I just did. And then you put the starfall there, Careening Cliffs. Okay, in this case, even though people scouted there, they didn't go there for some reason, but it is what it is. Well, we'll just put it like this. These guys go there. I'll put this one here, for example. All right, so that's done. Then we will also reveal the hidden objective. So the objective in the first round was have the most true power in peaceful plains. Now, that'll be interesting because they are here and they are tied. So we'll have to check what that does eventually. And then it also says, well, we do it immediately. So if there's a tie, the person who is earliest in turn order wins. So in this case, purple would win this objective and they would get a starfall. Okay. Whenever there's a tie, it is turn order that's important. So you might want to go for gold, but if you tie, you will lose every battle basically if you're last player. Okay. Then you will reveal the hidden starfall card. So I said this already, boom, and then you put the starfall token there. And then we will start doing the rewards. Okay. Now let's see. Peaceful Plains. Here, 2 people are fighting. So we have green with 1 and purple with 1. But as we know, turn order breaks ties, so purple wins. In this case, there's no starfall. Had there been one, purple would have won a starfall. But green will not go home empty-handed. Green would then get both resources. But at this point, there's no starfall there. So purple wins. They get both resources. And then it's green. Green will get 1 resource. If there's somebody else there who has nothing, then they will get nothing. So basically, it's starfall, 2 resources, 1 resource, nothing. Okay, that is the rule. So starfall, 2 resources, 1 resource, nothing. And you have to take both resources. You cannot say, oh, I want 2 wood. No, it's gold and wood. Okay, but of course, when you check the battle, you also want to see, is there a fortress there? Is there a market there that might give me some extra points or goods or whatever? So here we have the careening cliffs. Now, just for an example, I'll put some extra markets there. I'll put a fortress here. All right. And yeah, I think that should do. We'll put purple there as well with 10. Purple is going crazy at this moment. Let's say they were first even. Okay, so let's check then. You always check from top to bottom, by the way. So purple has 10. Way to go, purple. And then green has 2. And yellow also has 10. Now, purple, however, has 1 fortress attached. So it's 10 plus 1, 11. Yellow just has 10, no fortress attached. Green has 2. So purple wins the starfall. Yay. And then yellow is second. They will get 2 resources and another resource of their choice, gold or stone, because of their market. And then green, in this case, would get 1 resource. Now let's say there was no starfall. Then purple would have gotten 2 resources. Yellow would have gotten 1 resource of their choice and another of their choice because of their market. And then green, even though they were third and get nothing here, they have their market here, so they will get 1 resource. Okay. If this 2 was a 0, the market would have done nothing. All right, because there's no one there to help you get the resource. So that's basically how the battles go and the effects are. For example, here you have your skimmer. So if you have a skimmer, then you still have, you still win. You still get the resources, okay? But any markets that are attached of this color or fortresses, they will not have any effect. Also, skimmers can also win starfalls. Let's say there was a starfall here in the woeful wetlands and no one went there, then this starfall will stay there until the next round, okay? So once all of that has been done, all the bells have been done, you have to do round cleanup, okay? First of all the blue cards, the public one, all the hidden starfalls, they go back into the deck and they will be shuffled, and then 2 of them will come out. The public card also goes back into the deck. It's also shuffled, and then we'll also reveal a new one later on. Then we will also return all the airships and the skippers back to the player trays. All the tokens that were used for scouting, they return, so these ones here return, but the ones for the objectives, the orange row, they do not go back, they stay there, okay? Also, these objective cards are there for the whole game. They are not replaced or whatever, they stuck. And then we simply start a new round with purple going first. We put 2 cards here, we reveal a new card, and then the game is ready to begin once again. And then now it's time to talk about the solo game. If I've forgotten anything, or God forbid I made a mistake, then please do check the comments. There might be some things there. I don't think so though, but then again, you never know. So let's talk about the solo. I already said this stuff here is a solo. Now normally the ships of the other factions and everything, normally you don't use these for solo. Normally you use these resources, the tokens, and I played several games with them and they're fine. But honestly, I think it'll be a lot nicer if I play with the actual game pieces because it's way more beautiful. Obviously, they don't have the same look. What I do is I take the darker color, goes with the darker deck, and the lighter color goes with the lighter deck. Okay. So, with the solo game, you obviously have to play on the 3-player map. And obviously, I'm green. You always start first. And they will be second or third, whoever you want to be, second or third. It doesn't matter who it is of the AIs, okay? There are no objective cards. That's also a big difference. And the AIs both have a deck of actions, all right? So obviously you're going to shuffle it, shuffle, 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 shuffle. And then on its turn, you will reveal a card. So let's say it says place an airship. It's very simple. Place an airship in a region with the most starfalls and none of the AI's tokens. Now, before we even do this, you reveal 3 tokens. So let's say these 3, these 3 tokens, these 3 values, will not be in the game. Same as these 3 tokens. Okay, obviously you will shuffle them every round, and they will always be different every round. That's also probably why they sold capsules for the game, to protect these. But you can always find coin capsules on Amazon or somewhere else as well. Honestly, I'm also going to get some black baggies to put these tokens in, so I don't always have to shuffle them like this. I always try not to remember what I've seen or not. So anyway, so these 3 are public knowledge. So I know for the purple faction, the 10s are not going to come out. And I know for the orange faction, 8 and 9 is not going to come out. So let's say it says, well, you place an airship. Normally, I'll take the airship token, which is just this, and I'll go to where the most amount of starfalls are. So in this case, here. Now, of course, you're going to cover up the explore action, but they don't explore, so nothing happens. So because I play with these, I'll just put this on top, because it just looks better. Okay. All right. So that's done. That's done. What else can you do? Now, I'll just go fast forward with this. Well, let's just do both of them real quick. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And the first one that comes out is also place an airship. So same thing. They also go to the same location. Boom. Next one is place a skimmer. So depending on your difficulty level, there are 3 difficulty levels. You've got easy, medium, and hard. Easy means you don't use the market card. I'll talk more about that in a second, these market cards. Easy also says 2 buildings of each type. Now, obviously, we're playing medium because you have 3 of each type. And easy says 1 high troop power airship. I'll talk about that in a second. Medium says you use the market card, you use 3 buildings of each type, and there's 1 high troop. Hard means markets, 4 buildings of each type, and 2 high troop power airships. Now, what does that mean, the high power airships? I will tell you in a second, because I want to do the other stuff first. So place a skimmer. Okay, I'll take this skimmer, and it says on the public starfall, which is this one, which is still this one because nothing else has come out. Okay, then it is orange again, and they'll do another airship. So it says place an airship in a region with the most starfalls and none of the AI's tokens. So obviously they're already here, so they need to go somewhere else. There are no starfalls there. So then you look at how the AI behaves on the AI terms and rules. Okay, so for example, it says here, AI advantage. This is used when the player is unsure whether the AI should place an airship or building. The AI will place in a region or floating platform, which are the hexes, that is connected to most of its buildings. Well, no, floating platforms are the island, sorry. That is connected to most of its buildings. But at the moment, we don't have any buildings yet either. If still the buildings are equal, so in this case 0, it will use the compass. So on each card, it has a compass, okay, here. Now, you don't use the compass on the actual card, you use the compass on the previous card. Unless it's the first card, then use the compass. So, okay, let's take a look at the previous card. The compass is pointing downwards, and if downwards still doesn't work, you go to the right. So in this case, there are 2 at the bottom, Woeful Wetlands and Molten Moor. So then first look at the big star, which is down. Then you look at the small star, which is to the right, which is Molten Moor. So in this case, the skimmer will go to Molten Moor. Oh, I put the skimmer already. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong cards. Basically the same thing. It goes up and left. In this case, up, there's only Peaceful Plains. It goes to Peaceful Claims and not the skimmer, obviously. Okay, so now at least you have 2 examples of the different compasses. What else can you do? Scout a hidden starfall. So we have 1 hidden starfall there. Now, obviously, they are not going to turn over and look at it or take a resource or something. No, they will simply put a token there. Now, let's say orange does the same thing. Let's quickly cheat and find. Oh, it would have been the next one anyway. They also scout. They put it here. Once 2 people, so it could be me as well, or 2 AIs, or me and an AI. Once 2 are there, it is revealed. So in this case, it is the Woeful Wetlands, and the starfall is immediately placed. This is important because it means if they place another ship like this, they will go where the most starfalls are and none of the AI's tokens, so they will immediately go there. Okay? Makes sense, right? So I could reveal this and take a resource if I wanted to, but it increases the chance of them scouting it and finding it and then taking it. Also important on a scout card, it says following the previous compass. So if I look at this one, it would scout the card. So the big star is down to the bottom, but that means nothing. And then the small one is to the right. That means it would scout the hidden starfall most to the right. Okay. So for example, in the 5th round, it will be this card. In the 4th round, this one, and so on and so on. So they will try to scout on different sides depending on the compass. Okay. What else is there that they can do? Obviously, they can build a fortress and they can build a market. And it's always the same thing. Build near the most starfalls and connections. Now, obviously, there are 2 starfalls here, so that's a tie. So then you look at the most connections. Now, there's also 4 and 4 and so on. There's still the most connections. Obviously, in this case, you're going to go for the 4 that's connected to both. Okay, so then you put your fortress down. Boom, and that's it. Okay, and if there's still like a tie, like, okay, both of them are, let's say everything was here and here, and there was a tie between here, then you will once again use the compass to decide where we should go. All right. Okay, so that is a fortress. Same with the market. Okay, so fortresses and skimmers, they act in the same way. Okay, they just do +1 damage, +1 power, let's say like that. Markets are different, however, because you can see they both have a market card and they both get a token on that market card, which starts at 0, of course. And then whenever they are somewhere and they have a market there and the market gets activated, they move forward on the market card. Also, if at the end of their turn they will take a gold for some reason, then they will also move forward on their market card. And you can see if you play on hard, they get a starfall after 5 spots. If you play on medium, they get a starfall after 6 spots. Okay. Now, that's another thing. How does the player turn thing work? Well, when they've placed all their 3 ships, they will see. If no one has chosen yet, they will go for 1st spot. If 1st spot is already taken, they will go for 3rd spot to get the resource, and then finally 2nd spot if it's still available. Okay, so that's how that works. But how do these flight tokens work? Because you can see, flight tokens, these airships tokens work. Because you have 3 of them and they have like stars and so on, and there's just 2 numbers on some of them. Very simple. Let's say all of them came out. Okay, this one is here, and this one is here. Obviously, I will be on the board as well, but I don't want to make this too long. So we reveal the yellow ones first. So we have the highest one is 6 here. So 6. Highest one here is 10. The highest one here is 7. So what happens is, because we're playing medium and we have 1 high troop, we will keep the 10. The other 2 will become the lowest. So 4 and 3. And then we compare the battle. So for example, with purple, it would have been 6. Here it is 7. And here it is 9. So we keep the 9. This becomes a 4. And this becomes a 3. So obviously these 2 tie, 3 and 3. But purple has a tower, so they actually have 4. So purple would win. Okay. And they have a skimmer as well. So they have 5 actually. And nowhere they fight nowhere else. So it doesn't really matter. But if you play on hard, you would keep 2 highest. So the 10 would stay, the 7 would stay, and that's it. And for purple, the 9 would stay, and the 7 would also stay. Yeah. So obviously that would make it way more difficult than before. And that's basically how the solo works. Okay. What I find most difficult about playing solo is how to place the markets and the fortresses, like comparing the buildings and where you should go specifically. But aside from that, it's fairly straightforward to play. Another thing is the AI never gets any resources. Like, they either win the starfall or they get nothing. They only get market card stuff if they have a market attached to it. Okay, so they don't collect any type of resources. And once again, if they do get the gold, their market card increases. All right. The games that I've played, it tends to be like around 20 to 22 starfalls that are divided after 5 rounds. But I will see. I'm gonna record a playthrough now, but thank you everyone for watching. My name was Joachim and always will be. This was So Many Games All the Time, and maybe I'll see you at the solo playthrough. Bye-bye.